Good Monday Matters. I hope you had a wonderful Sabbath and are enjoying a new week and all that God has in store for you. My name is Mike Courtney, and this is Monday Matters. Every Monday, I take a few minutes and talk about something to make your life happier, healthier, and perhaps a little bit holier. I'm laughing as I'm saying that because for those of us in the middle part of the United States and up into the Northeast, it's been anything but delightful. We are in a Tennessee snowmageddon. That means we got 2 or 3 inches of snow and an inch of ice, and it is treacherous. We don't know how to drive on it. We don't have the equipment to clear it away. When we lived in Ohio, this was a morning dusting, but other places have gotten far, far more. And so be careful. I know many of us are, not us, but many are without power. And so it's been a very difficult, treacherous time. But thankfully, it seems like that God is protected and the people that we know are okay. Some of them have had their power and then had it off and then had it restored. So glad you're okay. And this is Monday Matters. I will tell you, my friend Tim Hancock, who is not much of a Christian, because he posted very smart aleck video today. And if you'd like to go to it, you can look at it and then leave him a really bad review. He lives in Winter Park, Florida, and he posted a video of how awful it was for him last night to go out and take the trash out in the weather and all of that. And he went out in his shorts and had to put on his clogs to walk out to an incredibly clear, star-filled, moonlit night, and he was just talking about how bad it was. So yeah, that was funny. If you live in Florida from Orlando south, that was funny. Anywhere north of that, we're all mad at Tim. No, I'm just kidding. But go on his YouTube page and find it and leave him a review. So Monday Matters. Last Monday, I posted a thing that actually kind of surprised me in the response that it got. A lot of people responded, and I was talking about loving yourself and and how you don't love yourself. What it doesn't mean to love yourself. To love yourself doesn't mean that you are self-centered, that you are self-indulgent, that you are focused just on you. That's not what it means. And so I was surprised. I got a lot of response from that. And thank you, people, for responding. But one of the main things was people saying, okay, how do you love yourself? If that's not what you do, then what do you do? How do you love yourself? And so I had some other things I wanted to talk about, but this just seemed pressing today. And I think it's very important. This may be the most important one of these I've done in a long time because it is such an issue for people. And the response made that evident. I want to talk about how we love ourselves. Remind you again that Jesus said the greatest commandment is love the Lord your God. The second is love your neighbor as you love yourself. Paul says, and husbands and wives, husbands, love your wives as you love your own body. Apparently, there is implicit in Scripture the idea that at the heart of good relationships, of good spirituality, of good health, at the heart is the ability to love yourself. And I would say, from 20 years of counseling, I would say that at the heart of nearly every issue I've ever dealt with, whether it's marital, addiction, whatever it is, at the heart of that is an inability of one or the other to love themselves. Or if they do, they love themselves in the wrong way, in an inappropriate way. So how do you love yourself? I've jotted down about 5 or 6 things, but I want to begin by telling you a quick little story. My favorite dog of all time, and I've had a few, but my favorite was Roxy. Roxy was a beagle I bought as a puppy. Mike Sherman helped me to find Roxy. She was the runt of the litter. The guy selling puppies and said, nobody want this one. She's the runt. I'll take her. And I raised Roxy. I mean, I literally raised her. She in a box when she was just a puppy, and then spent time with her. I was pastoring in Ohio, and I had time as she got a little bit older to go out and play with her in the yard, and then to take her out in a little weed field close, and just spent an unbelievable amount of time with Roxy. She was a beagle. And I'll never forget the first time we would go out and I'd jump up a rabbit and I'd say, "Hey, Roxy, come here. And she wouldn't pay attention. That one time, finally she did, and she sniffed it, and you could hear this little weird little squeak in her throat. Whoa, just starting to come out. Oh, someday she'll get it. And she did. There was a time where she was just amazing at chasing rabbits. That she loved herself. Now, I don't know how I know that, but I just know that I think most dogs, they don't struggle with self-love. They might struggle with the circumstances around them. They have a owner that's abusive or something like that. But I think they just naturally kind of love them. They enjoy themselves. Now, you could throw a tennis ball out in the yard and Roxy could entertain herself for hours. And then she could come in and lay down in front of the fireplace and sleep for hours. I think there's some lessons in Roxy. Now, I'm not trying to tell you you're a dog, but I will say that C.S. Lewis uses the analogy of a dog in his book, Mere Christianity, says we should be more like dogs. So these lessons that come out of that. First of all, when we're talking about loving yourself, love yourself enough to say no to the bad stuff. Now, that didn't come natural. Roxy had to learn that, but she eventually learned that there were consequences to the bad stuff. When you get out of the fence, you might get hit by a car. And ultimately, she didn't learn completely because that is what happened. But learn to say no to the bad stuff. Love yourself enough that you're willing to say, no, this is not healthy for me. This is not good for me. That might be a chemical thing, something that you're eating, something that you're drinking. It might be a feeling or emotion. When that feeling of, oh, you're worthless, why don't you just sit here and have a pity party? When that comes on, you love yourself enough to say, no, I'm not going to do that. This is not healthy for me. I'm not going to do that thing that in the long run makes me love myself even less. So look around. What are the things that you're doing that you're not happy with? Don't stop doing those out of some discipline. Stop doing those because you love yourself enough to say no to the bad stuff. Here's the second thing. I may write this out in a blog. There's just so much to it. I may just write a long blog and post it by the end of the week. Here's the second thing. Love yourself enough to say no to the good stuff. Sometimes there can just be too much good stuff. Sometimes I would give Roxy a little hamburger and she'd eat it. And then if I give her some more, she'd eat it. If I kept giving her a hamburger, she'd eat it till she would literally just pop, I think. But she had to learn to say no to the good stuff. Sometimes that's part of what it means to be disciplined. I don't do that. But also, sometimes I say no to the good stuff so I can say yes to the better stuff. There's nothing wrong with Facebook or television or reading Harlequin novels. There's nothing wrong with those things, I don't think. But learn to say no to that so I can say yes to the better stuff. And again, here's very blunt. If you're sitting around and you don't feel good about yourself and you're kind of down on yourself, depressed, discouraged, whatever, it may be that you're doing too much good stuff and not enough of the best stuff. So say no to some of that stuff. Just turn off the TV or turn off okay, I'll quit talking and start preaching. Love yourself enough to take care of yourself, body, soul, and spirit. The Bible's very clear that we are a single entity. We're not three individuals, but we do have these three areas of our life that we present ourselves and present to us special opportunities. Body, soul, and spirit. Do a little physical exercise. Love yourself enough to take a walk. Love yourself enough to push back from the table a little bit. I mean, listen, you can tell from looking at me, I'm not the best at this, but I can do better. Love yourself enough to take care of yourself physically. I'm being very intentional this year about sleeping. It's been if you follow me, if you know me, that's a huge, so I'm really working hard at doing that the right way. Love yourself to take care of yourself mentally and emotionally, body, soul. The Greek word for soul is psyche, same word that we get psychology, psychiatrist. It's the part of me that's not physical, not hair, bones, and teeth, but that my ability to love, my ability to think and reason, my ability to like and dislike, all those things. The mental and the emotional. Love yourself to physically to exercise, mentally and emotionally to enjoy. Put things in your life, good, healthy things that bring enjoyment, that bring fulfillment to you, emotionally, mentally. Read. Doris used to never be a reader. And man, in the last 15, 20 years, she is a voracious reader. And she's embarrassing me at how much she reads and outreads me. But do some things to bring enjoyment. And then the final thing, spiritually. Love yourself enough to spiritually enlighten yourself. Study God's word. Be in the Bible. Listen to Christian podcasts. Do the things that build you up spiritually. I'm discouraged. I'm depressed. Nobody loves me. I hate myself. I can't love myself. Well, quit watching Big Bang Theory on television and instead put on a podcast. Watch a sermon from last Sunday's service. Pick up your Bible and read it. Love yourself enough to say no to good stuff. Love yourself enough to say no to bad stuff. Love yourself enough to take care of your body, soul, and spirit. And then these last three come right out of the dog, right out of Roxy. And they are probably could be drawn from C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity, I think. But love yourself enough to find and do your purpose. You are created for a purpose. Eric Liddell, that famous scene in Chariots of Fire, he said he was a Olympic runner, but he was also a missionary. He said God, he was from Scotland. God made me for a purpose, but he also made me fast. And when I run, I feel his pleasure. I want to find God's pleasure. I want to know his purpose. I want to love myself enough. And that's not just a big thing. That's a little thing. Sometimes his purpose is that I get up and take a walk, that I clean my room, whatever your purpose is. And that's different for men. I think that's why retirement is not all it's cracked up to be. If you retire, and well, you should, but men, find something else to do that's purposeful, that gives your life meaning. Ladies, if you are a stay-at-home mom, which is the most difficult, most noble job of all, but if you're sitting around feeling sorry for yourself and the house is a mess and you haven't washed the clothes and all, get up and do that. Do something that is purposeful, and it will change. And it's not easy. I'm not suggesting it's easy, but when Roxy was chasing rabbits, she was so happy. That was her purpose. That's why she was made. Dogs have purposes. Jacob has a golden retriever. Its job is to retrieve, and you can sit in the yard and throw a tennis ball all day long. Get the tennis ball and bring it back to you. Josh has a little frou-frou lap dog, and it's going to be in your lap. Wherever you sit down, that dog's going to be in your lap. It's happy doing its purpose. Shonda has 3 dogs. I think their purpose is to bark. All they do is bark, 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 bark. So find your purpose and find happiness in doing that. Love yourself enough to find and do your purpose. 2 more. Love yourself enough to be where you're supposed to be. Make the effort. Sometimes it's hard. It's not always easy. This is going to be long. I know, and I'm sorry, but it's important. So I hope you'll take the time to listen to it. Love yourself enough to be where you're supposed to be. When I do not love myself, I'm always in the wrong place. I'm always isolating or going places that I shouldn't go, doing things I shouldn't do. When I love myself is when I love myself enough to be in the right place. Socially, I'm not alone. I make sure I'm with good people. Relationally, I stay connected to those people that know me and I know them. And spiritually, I get in church. When I'm down, when I don't love myself, I don't. Church is the last place I want to go. But when I do that, when I love myself enough to do that, then that changes. Love yourself enough to do what you're supposed to do. Love yourself enough to be where you're supposed to be. And then finally this, love yourself enough to serve who you're supposed to serve. C.S. Lewis says in Mere Christianity that dogs were created to serve their masters. And they are happy and fulfilled when they do that. I think there's some truth to that. Dogs should just be allowed to run free. And how come you see all these TV commercials about these dogs that are abandoned and they just want a home? Dogs were created to have masters and to serve their masters. And we are no different than dogs. Roxy was her most fulfilled when I was patting her and telling her good job, and she was doing what I'd asked her to do. And we are most fulfilled when we serve our master, when we say, I'm going to love myself enough to not do what I want to do, but to do what he wants me to do. Here's a story to close with that. I was hunting with Roxy, and she was chasing rabbits. She loved chasing rabbits. She's good at chasing rabbits. That's what she's supposed to do. She was chasing rabbits, and she was running down a fence line, and I looked ahead of her, and there was a coyote laying in the fence line way ahead of her. And then I looked, and there was another coyote walking beside us out in the field, and it was trying to maneuver between me and Roxy, so that Roxy would be between those two coyotes, and they were going to get her. That was the coyotes are smart. They were going to get her. And I began to yell, Roxy, come here. Come here, Roxy. Now she's chasing a rabbit. She's doing what she thinks she's supposed to do. But she heard my voice and she stopped and she turned around and immediately started coming toward me. And when she did, both coyotes bolted and I ran and got her. And love yourself enough to do what the master says. And to do what the master says, you have to listen for his voice. You have to find his voice. But if you'll do that, if you'll listen to his voice, he will help you to say no to bad things and no to good things. He'll help you to be in the right place at the right time, to be with the right people at the right time, to take care of yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually, and he will help you to serve him. And then that's how you love yourself. That's how you know you're doing a great job. Well, too long, but I'm going to post it anyway. By the way, 1st of February, I'm really excited about this. 1st of February, Money Matters is not going to go away, but it's kind of going to blend in with Branches is starting a podcast. I like branching out. That's the name I'm pulling for, but I don't know what the name is going to be. If you have a name you like for the Branches podcast, then post it on here and let me know, and you'll go in the pot. I like the idea of branching out. It's going to be 30 minutes. We're going to interview somebody. We're going to talk about ideas of the day. And the first little part of that is going to be a Monday Matters kind of thing. We're going to do it twice a month. So that means the other 2 weeks, I will do this Monday Matters. So Monday Matters, and then branching out, and then Monday Matters, and then branching out. It's going to be done better. We're going to have better people doing it. And anyway, I'm excited about that. I think it's what I'm supposed to do. It's my purpose. And so I'm loving myself enough to do it. I hope you'll love yourself enough to listen to it. Thank you so much for listening to this. I don't always say this, but share this with somebody, because this is an important thing. For people to learn to love themselves is so important, and to know what it means. And maybe this will help somebody. You probably know somebody has. Maybe this will help. Share this with them. God bless you. Have a great day. I will talk to you next Monday on Monday Matters.